technology problem. We have a people problem. You have to build a relationship.
Secrets of Top Selling Agents with your hosts, Deborah Helleran and Mel McMurrin.
Hi, and thank you for joining us. I'm Deb Halloran, producer and host of Secrets of Top Selling Agents. And with me here in our Cobb Mountain studio is Mel McMurrin, co-host and sound engineer. And we're happy to be hosting Garry Wise, the paperless agent, today. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning, Deb. I wish we had our iPad out so we could follow along, but we're going to have to do that with the recording.
We will.
Oh, I get to start this.
You do.
I get to
Tell
start.
us about Garry, Mel.
Garry Wise received his real estate license in 1997 and spent the next 16 years selling homes in Austin, Texas. He built a profitable real estate company in 2006, merged the Good Life with the Good Life team, where he and Christina Wise began innovating ways to provide exceptional service to their buyers and sellers.
This quest to innovate led them to want to do something about the endless paperwork in real estate. An inevitable disorganization this paper-laden process created. Garry hired 2 assistants just to manage paper so that he could spend more time with his clients.
Then, in 2010, 2 events converged to change Good Life Team forever. They were named Most Innovative Real Estate Brokerage in North America by Inman News, and the first iPad was released to the public. Garry immediately purchased one and has been developing best practices for mobile devices ever since.
Apple caught wind of the Good Life team's innovation and featured them in a case study still available from apple.com. In 2012, they began sharing their agent training with the industry, which is why we're here today. Welcome, Garry Wise. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, guys. It is an honor to be here and a pleasure. And I just want to say I'm so grateful to you two for inviting me to be here today, and I'm grateful for everybody who's joining us today because, you know, they're taking time out of their day to continue elevating their own education and their own professionalism. So kudos to everybody here with us today. So I just wanted to start out by saying thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody, we are switching screens, so ignore the white screen. And we go to Garry's desktop live.
Excellent. Well, as you guys mentioned, it's been a wild ride so far, and really what's happened in our own businesses and in the industry at large, as you said, is there's so many changes taking place with technology, and it is so easy to be just overwhelmed by all of the innovations in technology and changes in hardware and software and websites and blogs and on and on and on. I mean, I go to conference after conference, and all they talk about is what we all need to be experts in. And so going through that, what we decided is, you know what? Things are complicated enough. Let's simplify everything for ourselves, and thereby we built an entire business system around simplifying technology for our own agents, and then we're able to bring that to everybody else. And you know, what that is it's called the paperless agent, and the training that we have available to everybody is iPad for real estate. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. And we're going to talk about best practices. This is not just theory. This is not just, hey, here are the top 50 apps that you should use, because I keep hearing that, and I'm sure you guys do too. What we're really going to talk about are what are some apps that are tried and true and tested that will really work for you. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And as it was mentioned, we've had some great exposure in the industry and across the nation in North America. Very recently, there's Christina Wise, our CEO. She was featured on the front page of the money section of USA Today, and you can read right there. It says, "Apps lighten the workload," and that's what we're here to talk about. We're not here to say, "Oh, you're going to need to add things to your plate." What we're going to talk about is how do you take things off of your plate? How do you simplify your own business? And you know, one thing that Deborah mentioned in the introduction is that, man, I used to have 2 assistants just to manage paperwork. What we've been able to do is, through using this technology, we've been able to eliminate one of those roles. That's saving our organization $60,000 a year just by the sheer fact that we're going paperless, and that's just in personnel. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Additionally, we're going to talk a lot about Evernote. Man, I love Evernote. If you're not using Evernote, as soon as this webinar is over, that's going to be the first app that I highly recommend that you go download. It's a free app, and we'll talk a lot about that as well. And Christina Wise is the Evernote ambassador to real estate. There's only one, and she is that representative for our industry. And then, as you mentioned, we were featured in a case study by Apple, and that was in 2011. And then, actually, earlier in 2013, this is a picture of me and Christina being interviewed at Apple. And there's a 6-part podcast series where we talk about Apple in business and how we are using Apple in our own businesses. And so we're going to talk a lot about that and exactly how we're able to use that to optimize operations. And so this is real, live, tried and true systems that we are going to give you that we want you to be able to implement immediately. So I have to add this. I was talking to Deborah about this earlier, and Mel was laughing about this. But I just look at this, and I know that's a joke, and I know it's kind of silly right there. But I do want to mention that, gosh, do you ever feel like this is you, like you're totally buried in paperwork? And I just for myself, I speak across the country, and I go visit realtors at their offices, and this is not too far off. The only difference is normally that paper is in some sort of container, like a folder, and with that, those folders are all organized as file folder holders on the desk. You've got blue folders for buyers and red folders for sellers. Well, what we want to do is we want to eliminate that. Let's eliminate the chaos in our industry. Let's eliminate the chaos in your own business, and it's not that hard. And in fact, one thing that we can tell you is that historically, if you commit 1 hour per day to training to go paperless, you won't have to spend the 3.5 years that we spent learning how to be paperless and what that means to our industry and designing your own system. We're going to show you how to do that in 1 hour a day. Now, I do want to share some stats that really validate what we're talking about here. The first one is desktop searches. Did you know that 70% of desktop searches by buyers and sellers result in action within 1 month? So if people are active enough to go onto their desktop and start searching for homes or searching for comparable homes in their neighborhood, it normally takes about a month for them to take action. But mobile searches, this is huge. 70% result with action in 1 hour. So what that means is, man, our buyers are mobile, our sellers are mobile, and we've got to be mobile too to be able to take care of that. And estimated by 2014, that is just around the corner. Mobile internet will take over desktop internet usage. That is incredible. And also, did you know that iPad and iPhone users are up to 300% more likely to contact you than a regular desktop user? That's an incredible stat. So, I mean, what all this says is, we used to say the future is mobile. And that future is not future anymore. It is now present. The present is mobile. And what that means is that we must be mobile too. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how do you go mobile? What are the steps you need to take? And specifically, what we're going to talk about today is a 5-step paperless listing appointment. So, if you're paying attention, and you want to take some notes, this is where the first place that I say is take notes. And I'm going to give you the steps that we've designed in our paperless system. So this is the 5-step paperless listing appointment. Now, we also teach about working with buyers. We just don't have time to go through all of that today. But let's get into the 5-step paperless listing appointment. Now, what you're seeing here, this is my own iPad. And I'll swipe back and forth so you can see it. Like, this is actually my iPad here in our office, and I'm going to take you through the different apps and the different steps. So let's get started. Step number 1 of a 5-step paperless listing appointment. Write this down. And like they said, we'll have questions afterwards. We can go back to the Facebook page and you can ask more questions, but just write this down and just take it for what it's worth. I'm going to give you a lot of sales nuggets in here, and I'm going to give you the steps as well. So step number 1 is ask questions. And a lot of people are like, ask questions? That's not what I do. The first step, that's not what I do. Well, catch this. Just listen to this for a moment. When you show up for a listing appointment, now get this story in your head, because I'm going to take you through a story. And I'm going to take you through a story that I'm going to go to Chris's house. We'll take Chris Scott as our example. I'm going to show up to Chris's house. I ring the doorbell. Chris and his wife come to the door, and they're like, Gary, thank you so much for coming over. The first thing they ask is what? Say it in your own head, or if you're crazy like I am, say it out loud. They say, would you like to take a tour of the house? This is the first tip I'm going to give you. So ask questions. Just in step number 1, ask questions. Right next to it, write this sentence. You know, Chris, I cannot wait to inspect your home with you. But first, what I'd love to do is sit down at your kitchen table next to you and review all of the information that you gave me during our initial phone consultation. Is that okay with you? And he says, oh, yeah, sure, that's great. So what I'm doing is, number 1, I'm taking control of the listing appointment. I'm not letting them control this. Number 2, I'm directing them to where we're going to go, and this first step. We're going to sit next to the client, and I'm going to ask questions, and the app I'm going to use in this step is Evernote. So go ahead and write that down. Step number 1, ask questions in Evernote, and I'll show you. This is my actual Evernote notebook here that I've created for this demonstration and for our training. And you'll see up in the top right corner I have my seller notebook stack. And as I select my seller notebook stack, you'll see all of my sellers in that stack. And so in the top left we have Chris Scott. So great. So what happens is I have my initial consultation information. You'll see that right here. I'm going to open that up, and I sit down with them in step number 1 in asking questions using Evernote, and I will review this information with them. Now keep in mind, I'm sitting next to them. This is a critical step, because if you sit across the table from somebody, it creates that physical barrier. We don't want that barrier. When we're listing a house as realtors, the client is our partner. So we need to actually use body language to really work with that and to explain to them that we're partners. So I sit down next to them and I say, Chris, great, thank you so much for having me over. I wanted to review all of the information that we talked about during our initial phone consultation. Now, what this does is this takes care of my client's primary concern. Their primary concern and your client's primary concern is they want to be heard. They want to know that we are listening to them. And the best way to do this is to show them. I'm not going to tell them. I'm sitting next to them. They see my iPad. And through the entire listing appointment, they're going to see my iPad. At some points, they will actually take control and hold the iPad. So I say, gosh, you know, Chris, one thing that I asked you to do is to make sure by calling your bank that your payoff is still $203,000. Now, did you do that for me, Chris? And he says, yes, Gary, of course I did. I called, and they told me that actually I don't owe 203. It's a little bit more than that. I said, okay, Chris, what is that? He said, it's 207. I said, okay, great, let me document that. And then we go through and we document absolutely everything about that. It really takes care of the client, make sure that they know that we're listening to them and that we're hearing them. So that is step number 1. We'll go through the entire consultation. We just went through a little bit there, but we'll go through the entire consultation and we'll talk about what it is that they're concerned about and all of the information that they give us on the phone. I just want to verify everything. I want them to know that I'm listening. I want them to know that we're partners because we're sitting next to them, and I want to take control of that listing. And the best way I know how to do that is to instantly take control by directing what we do and where we go. So that's step number 1. So step number 2, let's talk about this. Remember, when I rang the doorbell and Chris comes up and he goes, hey, can I show you around the house? Can I give you a tour? I say, you know what? I can't wait to inspect your home with you. So that's step number 2, is inspect the home. Now the reason we use that language is I want the client, I want the customer to truly understand that this is not a social call. I'm not there to tour their house. That's what friends do. Now, I may be a friend, but I'm here in a professional capacity. I'm going to inspect the home with them. So step number 2, inspect the home, and we're using we're going to use the app Evernote. So I can't wait to inspect your home with you. At this point, we get up, we stand up, and I say, great, Chris, why don't you walk me through your home, show me what your favorite features are, and let's inspect your home together. He says, great, let's do that. So what I do is I pull up my listing appointment template. Now, one thing I want to mention is everybody who registered for this call today, you are going to receive this listing appointment template after the webinar. You'll receive an email with a place where you can go and download this. We're going to give this to you, so don't worry about that. So with this listing appointment template, you'll see I've already completed my listing appointment information in here just because I wanted to share with you guys everything that you're able to capture in here. And what I did is I actually just I took a lot of photos of our office here at Good Life Team and also documented some recommended repairs and updates. So let's go back up to the top. We're walking around, we're inspecting the house. One thing I want to point out is I use extensively, and I teach this in our iPad for Real Estate training course. This is some of the things that we teach in the full course, which, by the way, you're going to have the option to opt in and purchase that course at a special price at the end of this webinar. Up at the top, we've got the camera, and I use the camera extensively. And in fact, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to take a picture here in our office so I can show you what this looks like. So if I want to take pictures as I'm walking through the home, what I would do is I would go up there and I would select that camera. And so as I select the camera, what's going to happen is that the camera feature opens up. And so, this is a desk here in our office, and so what I'll do is I'm going to take a picture, and then in the bottom right corner, I'm going to select that checkbox. And as I select that checkbox, it drops that photo right where my cursor was in that note. Is that not fantastic? I hope you are saying to yourself, wow, that is so cool, because here's the thing. Check this out. I'll go through a house, and I'll take anywhere between 30 or 40 photos of a house during the listing appointment, during step number 2, which is inspecting the home. I'll take tons of photos. And the reason I do that is several reasons. Number one, I want to totally wow the socks off of my client. Because here's the thing. Nobody else is doing this. Not at this capacity. And so if I can do things that the customer, like my competition's not, is that a wow factor? So I'll go through there. I'll also, up at the top, use this, which is the microphone, and we teach in our iPad for Real Estate training course how to record conversations with your customer, with their permission, of course, but it's in a way to where you can teach them, this is how unique we are. I'm going to record the conversation because I don't want to miss a thing. And so,
that's great.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's really cool.
And so,
Garry,
yeah,
a couple of people are asking, you're in Evernote right now, right?
I am in Evernote.
Right, they were just asking.
Yeah, and I'm in Evernote. You can do all of this within Evernote. You can take photos. You can import photos right up here from your photo stream. You can record audio. You want to see what that looks like?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that. So if I select that, since we're on the web, we may have a slight delay. But if I select that, you'll see, nope, it popped right up there. It's recording my audio. Now watch this. Check this out, Deborah. As I'm recording my audio, right here where the cursor is, when I select done, that audio recording drops right where that cursor was.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool? And I'm doing all of this right within Evernote. That's why we talk about Evernote like this is one of the primary tools that you can use as you're working with buyers and sellers. So this is a great, great tool to be able to use there. And then also, a lot of people say, well, gosh, what are some other reasons you take so many photos and you document so much about a house? And I got to tell you, several reasons. Number one is I've been selling real estate since 1997, and I've seen a lot of homes. And I got to tell you, I forget a lot about a specific home, specific features. Like, Deborah, if I walked into your house today and I walked back out, I might not remember if you have stainless appliances or if they're black or white. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't want to forget that when I'm going to market your home. And what a fool I look like if I call you back and I say, hey, Deborah, do you have stainless appliances?
You didn't remember that, Garry?
Exactly. And so that's where we just teach. Man, we teach this a lot in our training. Document everything, and Evernote helps you do that. Additionally, Deborah, I also want to tell you, and we do this as we go through the presentation, I also talk to my client about, another thing that we're going to do is that we have a stager that we're going to work with. So I'm documenting all of this so the stager knows before they show up, and they don't waste your time. They already know what your house looks like, and they know what they have to work with.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Additionally, we have contractors that we're going to send over to your house. Now, keep in mind, I'm not paying for these contractors. My client is, but at the same time, we're going to send these contractors, but I'm going to share this notebook with the contractors and with the stager and with my marketing team so they all know everything about the house before they ever step foot in there. It saves the client time.
Wow.
It saves them money, too, and it saves us time in going to market.
So
we're
you
able
can
to
just
get
send this house information in an email to your
Well,
contractor?
that's a great question. You're actually able to share, and I'll show everybody this at the end of the webinar. I'll show everybody how to share the entire notebook with whomever you want, including your clients.
Love it.
Yes. And think about this, Deborah. When was the last time you sold a house?
I haven't, actually. I bought my first home 4 years ago.
Okay, well, congratulations. Now, what I can tell you is that if you sold your house with us,
yes,
we are 100% transparent. We never take a note that you're not going to see. We never document anything that you won't see. So we document everything in here in Evernote, and I'll show you how we do that, and then we share it with you so you see everything that's going on.
That's fantastic.
Well, what this does, Deborah, is it really helps with the whole value proposition problem in real estate, is that here's the primary problem, is that our customers don't know what we're doing for them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if we show them what we're doing for them, it just removes that problem. So that value proposition is gone. And what's going to happen? It's a big deal, you're right. And keep in mind, Deborah, you and I were talking before the webinar. You said, well, Gary, what are some true benefits that you're able to save here? And one thing I can share with everybody here is that on average, our customers across the country, in North America actually, we have a lot of customers in Canada who have taken our training, and we get reports back from them. So over 3,300 people have gone through our iPad for real estate training, and we get tons of reports back, and we collate them, and on average, our agents who have done this training, who are paperless agents, are saving 5 hours of time per transaction. So, as I'm going on to step number 3, think about this. And in fact, if you're listening and you're going to sell a lot of homes this year, write down the number of homes you're going to sell this year. Multiply that times 5. And just think about that for a moment as I go on to step number 3. That is the number of hours that we can help you save by going paperless this year. And
Gary, you mentioned that if agents spend 1 hour a day learning to be a paperless agent, that they can learn how to do this, but how many years do they have to do that for?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay, good.
So, and that's the whole thing, is that you can do this one of 2 ways. You can do this the way we did it, which I can tell you, we took a lot of arrows in the back, and we spent 3.5 years designing and perfecting this system. So, as a realtor, you can spend that time and go do that. Or you can just take our training and spend 1 hour a day for about 2 weeks to become a paperless agent. So that's the value there. So I wanted to get through step number 3 before we take our quick break. So step number 3, let's get into this, Deborah.
Okay.
Step number 3, everybody write this down, is the marketing proposal. A lot of people call this the listing presentation. But we're not just presenting something. This is the whole marketing proposal. I'm going to propose to you what we're going to do to market and sell your house. And we'll use 2 apps for that. Number 1, we're going to use Keynote. Now, if you're not familiar with Keynote and you're a PC user, that's almost identical to PowerPoint. And then also we're going to use Sketch during this step. And so let's take a look at Keynote. And in here in Keynote, as I open this up, this is our marketing proposal. And what I can do is I can play this, and as I play this, I'm sitting down next to my client at the kitchen table, and I start going through our marketing proposal. Why do you want to hire the Good Life team? Meet our team. What is a 5? So I start going through this, and here's a sneaky little thing that I do, and I want you to write this down. Take this nugget away. Is that as you are proposing what you're going to do to market and sell the house during this, slowly slide the iPad closer to your client, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to take control of the presentation. And what happens when somebody else takes control of the presentation is they start having a conversation in their own head as to why they are going to hire you. So write this down. A master salesperson never tells anybody anything that they can show them. And the reason is that if I'm telling you something, two things have to happen. Number one, I have to try and convince you, and then psychologically you have to convince yourself of what I just tried to convince you of. But just by showing you and you having that conversation in your own head, what happens is they take step number one out, and then step number two, you're just convincing yourself. And guess what? We as human beings psychologically do not like lying to ourselves. So, if I'm telling myself something, I have to believe it.
Right.
And so that's Keynote. Now, Deborah, have you ever used Sketch before?
I haven't, actually.
Well, let's take a look at that now. Sketch right here, their logo is very unusual. I'm not really sure what this is about. And in fact, Sketch is headquartered in Austin, Texas. We've been to their headquarters. They're owned by Evernote. But what I want to show you in Sketch here is that you can come in here, and let me pull one up. I love doing this. So you can come into Sketch, and what it is it's a sketch pad on your iPad. And what we share with our clients is we create right there with them in step number 3. This is a huge tip I'm going to give everybody. We create what we call a lifestyle map. And so, Deborah, let's say that this is your house right here. And I'm going to sit with you, and we're going to sketch out on the iPad together the lifestyle features around your house. And you'll say, oh, well, Gary, the one thing I love is that's where the elementary school is. Oh, and man, a great feature is that the UT golf course, which is a 5-star golf course here in Austin, is right there. That's the local grocery store. That's where the local sushi. That's Lake Travis. That's Lake Austin. That's the steakhouse up there. So we help them build a lifestyle map.
That's great.
Well, you know what this also does? Is that as I post this to the MLS, it helps me market that house. I'm essentially doing 2 additional things. Is that as this is shared on other websites like homes.com, buyers are able to go there, and they're going to contact me directly because I'm sharing with them all of the photos, and I'm giving them a lifestyle map. Additionally, as I put this on MLS, I'm helping buyers agents do their jobs and help them sell my house because I'm giving them more information.
That's fantastic.
All right, so that is step number 3. Let's review this real quick. I want to make sure that everybody is able to document steps 1 through 3, and then we're going to take a quick break, just for I think about a minute, and then come back and go through steps 4 and 5. So step number 1 is ask questions, and we use Evernote for that. Step number 2 is inspect the home, and we use Evernote for that as well. And then step number 3 that we just covered is the marketing proposal, and that we used Keynote and Sketch. And then stay tuned, because in the next half hour we're going to go through steps 4 and 5, and then we'll talk about the special offer that everybody at homes.com has asked us to provide for you. So with that, Deborah,
Great.
I think you guys have some things.
Yeah, we'd just like to let you know about that offer. One of those offers, we're switching over now to Mel's computer. And take it away, Mel.
Yeah, this is our 2-minute break, so we'll try to keep it close to a minute. But like Gary said, he's got an amazing offer, a 60% discount on the paperless agent bundle. He's going to have details for that because he's the expert. So that's coming to you later on. And everybody gets a free template, by the way, just for registering for this webinar. So all kinds of goodies. Next month, we delve into the Twitterverse. Do you have all the Twitter skills you need? October 30th, so the day before Halloween. Hopefully no tricks or treats, just treats. And Homes.com's bundle, the Premier Homes Connect bundle, is discounted all this week, $20 off, plus you get a featured listing thrown in for free. This package includes Homes Connect, preferred listing on Homes.com, and social impact. And we have Michael Combs from Homes.com joining us at the end of the hour to show us all about that bundle, exposure, follow-up, and follow-through using Homes.com. And then a half hour after that, so in about an hour from now, Garry comes back and we all join on Facebook because, in fact, we've got a bunch of questions already. If we can't get to your questions here live in the webinar, bring them to the Facebook chat. You can go there now, facebook.com/HomesPro. You need to like the page, and then you'll see Garry's picture. Click on Garry's picture in the photos, and we'll be chatting there at 2:30. We may arrive shortly before that, Eastern, an hour from now. And, oh, I'm not going to show that slide because I'm going to get it.
That's the surprise slide.
That's the surprise slide, and I've given it away.
Okay, over to you, Garry.
It's coming in a second.
All right, so, that is awesome. You guys have got an absolutely fantastic system here that, and a lot of value. I don't know if everybody has been through a lot of the past webinars and future webinars that you guys have available for us to sign up for, but man, there is just a ton of value that you guys are offering for free. So our gratitude goes out to you guys as well.
Thank you.
Okay,
and
so
I just want to jump in. I'm sorry. A lot of people have said they've missed a portion or so of the program. This will be recorded, and Manly will send out links right now. If you're having any audio problems, try the Hangout, and Manly will send out links to that as well. Sorry, Garry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. Yeah, if you're just now arriving, we still have a lot of value for you. So we'll get into that, and then you can just go watch it over and over again. But the second half is where a lot of the meat is, and this is where, as our founder Christina Wise says, this is the coup de grace. This is where the magic happens, and that's in steps number 4 and 5. So if you're just now joining us, the first 3 steps we've gone through are, number 1 is ask questions in our 5-step paperless listing appointment. Number 1 is ask questions. Number 2 is inspect the home. Number 3 is the marketing proposal. And step number 4 is the pricing strategy. So, you know, there are 2 primary questions that people have when you show up for their home. Number 1 is, would you like to see the house? And number 2, what's my home worth? And we already addressed the first one, and now what we're going to do is let's talk about the second one, and that is, what is my home worth? How much can I sell? How much are you going to sell my house for, is what they ask. And so what we're able to do is use the first 3 steps and the fact that you're paperless to build trust. So let's talk psychologically really quick about this. So a typical realtor shows up with what? I want to show this one more time. A typical realtor will show up, and if this is what their office looks like, imagine what it looks like when they show up for a listing appointment. And so a typical realtor will show up with a 3-ring binder to be able to present information. They'll show up with a folder that hopefully has a lot of documentation for them to take notes in, just lots of paper. And then during the marketing proposal, they'll spread paper all over the tables and talk about, you know, how it is that they're going to sell the house. And then in step number 4, the pricing strategy, man, this is where things can get really messy and really dicey. Because here's the thing. As realtors, this is step 4 and 5 are the scariest steps, because what you're doing is you're building up to commitment. And in step 4, we want to try and convince them that this is the price that you should sell your house at. But what has happened is, by using the iPad uncommonly, by really sharing with the customer that we are using technology in a simple yet very effective way, unlike the competition, what happens is that we're building trust with that customer. They are trusting us more to be more competent, more professional, and more knowledgeable than we were when we showed up, because most people don't trust realtors. I know that's hard for you to believe, but they don't. And so as you show up and you start going through this process with them, you start building trust. And step number 4, the pricing strategy gets much easier. So we talk about using 2 different apps in this step. Now, most of the time, I don't even have to use the first app, and that first app is iBooks. So let's take a look at iBooks. Now, what iBooks is right here is iBooks is an online housing storage facility for all of my PDFs. That's a long way of saying this is where I can store my PDFs. And for example, I may have in here a full CMA with all of the MLS sheets for a pricing strategy conversation. Now, here's what's exciting about this, is that more often than not, in my experience now, when we get to step number 4, and I say, okay, guys, it's now time to discuss the pricing strategy, they go, okay. Chris says, Gary, what is my home worth? And I say, well, you know, based on all of my knowledge and my 17 years experience, what I can tell you, and the changes in the marketplace, my assessment is your home is worth $325,000. Now, I know that you were hoping to get $350,000, but I can tell you that I just don't think that's going to happen. We need to market your home at $325,000. What happens now is I normally don't even have to justify my assessment with the facts that they see here on the iPad in iBooks. Now, if they do want to see that, and they'll pull in and pinch in and take a look at the detailed photos, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm able to capture all of this here in iBooks. Again, I'm sitting next to them at the kitchen table, and I'm letting them drive. So they'll pinch in, take a look at the photos. He'll say, wow, honey, that house down the street for $350,000, it has that beautiful pool, and it has all this. Our house is not like that. Again, they're convincing themselves, and so we'll use iBooks to do that if necessary.
Can you
Next,
use Evernote to do that?
You can use Evernote to do that. Now, here's what what we teach in our iPad for Real Estate training is this, is that if I'm in iBooks and we're taking a look at this, and I need to take additional notes, instead of having to close one of my apps and open up the other, like if I just need to hop over here very quickly, I can do that by going from app to app. And I can do that several different ways, so I can just hop over from iBooks to Evernote and back and forth.
Okay.
Now, if I store this as a PDF in Evernote, what I have to do is I then have to close a note here in Evernote, open up the note in Evernote where that information is, then open that attachment, and then go back. Whereas what we teach is there's something called a 4-finger swipe, and you can just swipe right between apps instantly like that.
Okay.
But I love that question because it really addresses, like, well, what's the need for iBooks? That's it right there.
Yep.
All right, so the second app that we use in our pricing strategy is Numbers. So let's talk about Numbers. And I love this app because what it does is we have created in Numbers our seller's net calculator. And so we'll come in here into Numbers, and remember, we're still sitting at the kitchen table next to Chris Scott. And we have input in here already, the sales price of $325,000. The only thing we need to change is the payoff to lender. I'm like, well, you know, Chris, this is why we verified our information when we first sat down. So let's go back over to Evernote, open up that initial consultation, and remember, as we sat down and we verified that information in step number 1 by asking questions, it shows that you owe $207,000. Now we'll just hop right back over here, jump into our Numbers calculator, enter $207,000, and it instantly, magically calculates how much money you're going to make when we sell your house at $325,000. Your payoff to your lender is $207,000. You're going to net $93,508. And they absolutely love seeing this in person. And I show them absolutely everything that we do here. Now, I know a lot of questions are probably going to come in as like, ooh, I want that net sheet. Well, stay tuned. We'll show you exactly how you can get this because we're going to give that to you when you buy the iPad for real estate training. You're going to get that as a free bonus. So this is really cool if this is where it stopped. But what I want to share with you is this, is I can now come up into the top right corner and open this. Where would I be opening this document? Perhaps Evernote, where I'm taking all of the notes. It instantly takes that over there, creates a new note, and I'm able to move this right into Chris Scott's folder.
Wow.
And bam, there it is.
Beautiful.
I've just been able to create that note, and you see I just imported it right here into Chris Scott's notebook, and he saw me do that. And you want to talk about a wow factor? When you're doing this and you're importing stuff right into Chris's notebook, it is wow. It's like, holy cow, that is awesome. So that is step number 4, the pricing strategy. Step number 5, this is after we get over the nervousness of, oh my gosh, are they going to accept my pricing? This is where we write the listing agreement. And so for this, we're going to use zip forms. I'm going to open this up. I always have my listing agreement ready to go right here in zip forms. So you'll see I have Chris Scott, and we'll come down here and we have the price and we have everything set. Now what I need to do is I need to review this and open this in DocuSign Ink. And so we get a little magical navigation or animation there. And right here in DocuSign Ink, that's app number 2. So app number 1 is zip forms. App number 2 here is DocuSign Ink. I'm going to get Chris's signature. I'm going to add him as a signer on this. And he's an in-person signer. Now, if I have, like, if I have spouses or partners or friends, and they own this house together, you can have as many people sign on this as you want. And so what I'll do now is I'll open this up, and this is a great place to review the agreement with them. So we'll review the agreement with them, and then I'll take their initials and just drop them right there where my client needs to initial. And then we'll come down here. Every single place that my client needs to initial, just come in and drop their initials. And then down at the bottom, this is great. I love this. We just drop the signature right there. And if it's not in the right place, I can move it to the right place.
I've got 3 huge folders of chaotic paper when I bought this house, and I can't believe what you're doing here.
Yeah. Oh, it's so easy. This is so easy, and we show everybody how to do this with buyers at the house that they want to purchase too.
Oh.
And man, you want to talk about getting commitments from buyers in
Really?
our buyers course, Deborah? How many homes? Just share with us. How many homes did you see before you bought your house?
Oh, probably 15, more than average.
15 homes, man, and over multiple days, probably, right?
Actually, over a couple of years.
Over a couple of years. Well, what we train and what we teach in our iPad for Real Estate training is we show agents how to take buyers on one property tour in one day and show no more than 6 homes and have them sign that offer right there at the house. And so, but let's get back to this listing appointment, because we're wrapping up this listing appointment with Chris. And so what happens is Chris gets the iPad, and I said, Chris, in the top right corner, select next. He says, okay. As he selects next, the first initial box comes up, and I said, go ahead and select that and draw your initials. He says, okay. I said, now, Chris, this is a big question. And Deborah, I'm going to ask you this question: black, blue, or red?
Black. Okay,
black. People look at me all the time at listing appointments. Now, listing appointments are notoriously tense, because this is a big decision. They're selling their house. So I'm trying to lighten the mood by saying, do you want your signature in black, blue, or red ink? But I always just say black, blue, or red, and they're like, what are you talking? And then I show them, and they're like, oh, that's not so scary. So they sign, and then they go through, and they just approve it in all of the spots, and it's so fast and so easy. In fact, I show people how you can have somebody sign faster on the iPad than you can on paper.
I bet.
And then Chris signs, We're done. We're going to select Finish, confirm signing, and then this is where it gets really, really cool, because here's the thing, is that in the United States, we're required by law to give our customers the document, a copy of the document that they sign the day they sign it. So how would I do that? Well, I could email it to them, or I could open this in another app called Evernote. We open this in Evernote, and then we save it in Chris Scott's notebook. And let me show you something. Right here in Chris Scott's notebook, we have a lot of information. Number one, you'll see down here, we have his lifestyle map. We have his net sheet. We have a signed listing agreement. We have a copy of his appraisal that he would have emailed me. We have the listing appointment notes. We have the initial consultation. We have their tax record. We even have a photo of their home. Everything is right here in Evernote. They have just signed the listing agreement. I'm walking out of more listings these days with signed listing agreements than I ever have before, because the clients are so wowed. They're like, this is incredible. Why would I not trust my house to you?
Exactly.
And so that is how we're able, I mean, talk about a 5-star appointment with a customer. Now, there's one more app I want to point out, and that is Cartavi, and it's C-A-R-T-A-V-I, and it is right down here. This is an incredibly powerful app that can help you manage your transaction right here on your iPad. And what it allows you to do is to collaborate with everybody in a transaction from your iPad, your iPhone, your Android, your laptop, or anything. You have transaction rooms, and you're able to store all of your legal documents in here. You're able to invite everybody who's involved in the transaction right here into this transaction room. And Cartavi was recently purchased by DocuSign, so now what I can do is I can have documents signed by my clients right here in Cartavi, and I give them access to this. So gone are the days where I get phone calls from my clients when it gets near to tax time, where they're like, hey, I need that settlement statement. You don't have to do that anymore. Now you can have all of that right here. And that is how we're able to teach you how to create a 5-star appointment and a 5-star experience for your clients every single time you show up. And what's great is that if you want that listing, then what you can do is you can have them sign. If you don't want the listing, you just walk out and say, you know, we're not right for each other. But for those listings that you do want, especially in this tight market, you're going to be able to gain access to the ability to sign more listings by using nothing but your iPad.
Absolutely. And you mentioned how some people don't actually know what their real estate agent does, and when we bought this house, it seemed like the mortgage broker did more than the agent. I hope he's not on the line. But it wasn't true. I just didn't see it. I couldn't see it like this. I couldn't see exactly what he did for me.
Exactly. And through this, you know, so there are 3 enormous benefits that we're getting reports from all across North America. Number one is when agents go paperless, as I said, they're reporting that they're saving on average 5 hours per transaction. Now, for most agents, what that actually equates to is 3 weeks of work time.
Wow.
You're getting 3 weeks of your life back every year by just going paperless. And so I ask people, exactly. That's what I say, Deborah. If I said to you, I can give you 3 more weeks in your year, what would you do with that time?
Just go on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what most people say, is go on vacation. Some people say, hey, I'd spend more time building my business. But think about what that is worth to you. Right. Also, let's eliminate this whole mess of paper. Think about the amount of money that you can save by not buying paper, by not buying expensive toner cartridge and having to replace your fax machine and your copiers and your printers and buying all of those file folders. You don't have to do that anymore.
And Gary, you could actually take a photo of a buyer and a seller with all those papers scattered around their desk relative to the buying and selling process.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, talk about saving them paper and frustration.
Right.
The third benefit that we didn't even expect from this, and we're getting reports, especially there's a guy named Bob out in Orange County, and he calls us and he reports every single time something changes in his business and his life because he's gone paperless. And so he called and he said, you're not going to believe this. I am getting more referrals per closing than I ever have before, because people want their friends and family to have this experience.
Of course. Yeah.
And
that's
so
totally obvious to me.
I agree. And so that's what being paperless is, and that's the 5-step listing appointment. Now, I'm gonna share. I promised everybody that they would get access to some bonuses, and you know, I think Mel accidentally let the cat out of the bag of what you're going to get through this. But the paperless agent training, iPad for real estate. What this is you're going to get 64 online training modules. And here are just three of the 3,000 customers that we have who have gone through the training and what they're saying. And I love what Deepak says. He said, this training program is so impressive, you're offering $1 and asking for a dime. And I think that that's very indicative of what is happening. And so what you get is you're going to get iPad for sellers, which we just scratched the surface on there. We just barely showed you how to produce that 5-star experience and how to save those 5 hours. We dive in deep and we go granular to show you how to do that. We're also going to teach you how to work with buyers and take you on a buyer tour and show you exactly how to produce that 5-star experience for your buyers. Now, a lot of people, and Deborah, I don't know if you're in this category, but are you an expert in using your iPad?
No, I'm not. I wish I was.
This would be for you, is that we're also going to give away, in this training today, we're going to give away a free $97 bonus, which is I just bought my iPad, now what? That is training that takes you through and teaches you all the way from unboxing your iPad to mastering the iPad like the 4-finger swipe. And you know, a quick funny story is that when we go out to Apple and they're filming commercials, I'll show them things that I've learned, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't know you could do that with the iPad." So we're going to them and we're talking to them about these are the cool things that you can do. Now, also in the offer today, we're also going to give away a lot more value. So we have a LinkedIn social media playbook. LinkedIn is critical to building your business online, and we show you exactly how to do that. Now, that's normally $300. Additionally, we have a Good Life membership where we share everything that we're doing at the Good Life team. We even get you into a Good Life Facebook chat where you can have a referral system with other Good Lifers across the country. For the first year, we're going to give that to you. Additionally, you saw our Evernote business process a little bit there. We're going to give that to you as well. And we have that seller's net calculator that's normally $47. We're going to include all of that today. So this is everything that you get in the training, which is normally $972 if you add everything together. Well, for this Homes.com webinar today, what we're going to do is we're going to mark through a lot of that, and we're not going to have it available for $972. We're going to offer it to you, I think you mentioned this, for 60% off, which is $397. That's one-time payment, or if you like, you can do 2 payments of $227, and all you have to do is go to thepaperlessagentt.com/iPad, and maybe Chris, if you can type that into the chat section so people can just click on the hyperlink, thepaperlessagentt.com/iPad. Then all you have to do is go there and sign up today, and you'll be able to have access to that instantly. All right, so I know we've got Deborah. We've got just a few minutes left, and I wanted to make sure that you were able to do everything else that you need to do, and see if there are any questions about this training.
Great. Wow. I hope people jump on this immediately. I would have preferred to have an agent that knew about all of this. So thank you so much for offering this.
Well, it's my pleasure. Oh, Mel, are you there?
Oh, I was going to jump in because I'm seeing all the questions come in, and a lot of people are wondering about Android or Windows 7. I know Sketch and Evernote are available on those platforms. How does all this translate to those platforms?
That is a great question. So absolutely everything in our business process works on every device. Here's the one caveat. There are only 2 apps that are different. So we talked about Keynote and Numbers. If you're using an Android, all you would do is use PowerPoint and Excel, and that's it. But what you're buying here is you're buying training on a full business process of going paperless. It's not about the iPad. It's just that's what we use. What it's about is it's about going paperless. It's about saving 5 hours per transaction. It's about saving a lot of hard cash at the end of the year. And it's about producing that 5-star experience for your customer so you can generate more referrals.
So, Gary, when you do your training, if someone had an Android, you could still train them.
Absolutely. In fact, we have a ton of customers who use Androids and go through this, and they're like, oh my gosh, this works. This is awesome. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention, well, actually 2 things. Number 1 is I bet you're getting a lot of questions about how do I get access to this. What happens is when you go sign up today and you buy this, you get instant access to all of the training today, and it's all online. And you get access to it forever. There's no monthly fees. There's no annual fees. This is a one-time payment of $397, and you get this training forever. Now, also, one thing I wanted to mention is I think everybody knows that iOS 7 is about to be released on the iPad, and we're expecting that later this year. The iPhone, it's supposed to be coming out today. Now, with the iPad, we're also going to update all of our training for you, and if you buy this today, you're going to get the updates of all of our training for free. So you get all of that, and there's one more thing. You also get a 30-day money-back guarantee, because one thing I am always concerned about is I want everybody to be 100% satisfied with everything that they get. And so with that, we're going to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can hop in, opt in. There's no reason not to try this out, because if you're like, you know what, I don't want to go paperless, don't worry, you can always return it. So hop online, go to thepaperlessagent.com/iPad, and I think Laura put that in the chat section there, so you can just go click on that hyperlink, and you can start your training today.
Wow. That's someone who you have faith in your product, and you give a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Oh, absolutely, and here's the thing. We hardly ever get anybody asking for a refund, because people get in there, and they're like, oh, here's the story. Bob Watson out in California. I went out to his office, and I met with him in Orange County, and I said, wow, Bob, you've got a lot of paper and a lot of stuff everywhere. I said, let's take you through, and I'm going to show you how to do this to where you can get rid of all of this. He went through it, and he called me, and he said, man, this has changed my business. He was the first one to report how much time he's saving, and he also, as I told you, he called me back, and he said, I'm getting more referrals. But that's not all, because here's the other thing. This is the flip side of the coin. Is he also called back and he said, and I've gotten to know Bob really well, and Bob called me and he said, Gary, this has changed my life. Because think about this. If you're saving that much time, you get to get home to your spouse or partner earlier in the day. You get to sell more homes. You get to actually spend more time with the family or the kids. You know, let me show this picture. I love this picture because it really shows something that I love to do. I love to spend time in the mountains. And what this training has allowed me to do is spend more time in the mountains. Now I have, and people laugh, but I had 4 bars of cell service up on top. This is at 13,000 feet in California. In Colorado. 13,000 feet on top of a mountain. I'm able to communicate with my customers, manage my transactions in the middle of an 8-hour hike. I mean, how else can you do that?
Oh, that's fantastic. You got everyone buying it just on that comment.
Well, and you know, another thing is my kids play soccer. I used to have to leave their soccer games and go back to the office and race there and meet with buyers and sellers and have them sign documents, fax them off, hand deliver, all this stuff. I bought a recliner for my soccer games now because I recline, I sit there, I have my iPad. If I get a call and need to do something, I just pull up my iPad and I don't miss a single kick of my daughter's soccer game. I mean, that's the whole lifestyle feature.
Yes, this is a no-brainer. There are so many questions coming in. Mel, would you like to ask?
Yeah, if you use a listing agreement other than the one in zip forms, can you still use DocuSign?
Absolutely, and that's the whole thing, is that we teach in our training how you can import any document into DocuSign Inc. It doesn't have to be from zip forms, and in fact, a lot of people don't even have access to zip forms because you may have some other form software. Don't let that stop you, because we teach you step by step how to import any form into DocuSign to have your client sign.
Also, Grace wants to know, do we need to buy an agent specific iPad in the Fry or Best Buy type stores, or is the iPad included in the 397? Oh my gosh.
No, no, iPads are not. iPads cost more than $397.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you do is here's my answer to that. Go ahead and write this down, everybody. This is my recommendation for the iPad that you want to purchase. I recommend you buy the iPad, the newest iPad, with 32 gigabytes and 4G. Just write that down. That's my recommendation. 32 gigabytes and 4G, and you will be able to do absolutely everything that we teach you how to do by using the camera, by being able to annotate, by just having access to your internet wherever. So that's the iPad that we recommend.
Okay, Linda has something you maybe you can't do. What about if you work with people over 70 who don't want to use computers at all?
Oh, that's a great question. So here's my answer to that. You guys have heard me say 5-star experience for the customer, right?
Yep.
If a buyer or seller is like, I don't trust technology, I don't want to do that, I want paper, I want to see the ink, you give your customer what they want. So this is not going to be right for every customer, but here's the thing, is that even customers who are older like that, they're seeing this technology. My in-laws have iPads. Now, here's a story. My mom is a realtor, and she still sells real estate from time to time. She is over 70. I'm not going to say how old she is. I bought her an iPad. She threw away her laptop because it was hurting her back carrying it. She went through the training. She is able to transact on her iPad. And I can tell you this, if she's able to do it, I'm not saying anything negative, but anybody can do it.
Right, right. Wow, that's a very good point. It's 11:02, and we have a ton of excellent questions. So my suggestion is, everyone who's listening here, go over to, well, hang on a minute, wait the next 10 minutes because we've got a few giveaways here, but at 2:30 Eastern, let me see if I can do this, 11:30 Pacific, or 1:30 Central, we will begin our Facebook chat. So go to Homes Pro on Facebook, like them, and get ready for Gary's chat. You go to the photo section on Homes Pro and click on his photo, and you'll join the chat. And please ask your questions there, and he will be there for 15-20 minutes or so, and it'll be a direct conversation. So Gary, wow, what you have so wowed me today. If I was a real estate agent, I would do this immediately. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You know, and that's one thing that we say is that don't spend the 3.5 years that it took us.
Yeah.
Just spend the $397 and 2 weeks of training time and go become a paperless agent and save all of that time and money. Just join us online on that paperless path, and I promise you there are proven results that are going to help you make more money and save so much time.
Great. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming back to the Facebook chat. That's a really great opportunity for everybody. Make sure you go back there and ask Gary all your questions. Thank you again, Gary.
All right, thank you.
Now Michael is back. Michael, you're going to let us know what Homes.com has got in store for everyone with exposure, follow-up, and follow-through. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, and I just wanted to dovetail off Gary's presentation. If he came to me when I'm looking to sell my house,
yep,
that would just be such a strong presentation compared to any other agent I know that's out there.
Yep, absolutely.
It would get me so excited and feel confident that I have the right person listing my home. That, man, that was great. So well done, Gary, and you have a fantastic product. So yeah, exactly. And what he was talking about as well that ties in directly with Homes.com, and I noticed he had the Homes.com real estate app as well, is that buyers and sellers are on the go. And one of the things he mentioned that I jotted down was 70% of mobile users result in action within 1 hour. That means that when they're on the go, they're going to be searching. And when they're searching, that's a great time to put yourself in front of those buyers and sellers searching. So what Homes.com has is the ability to put one agent at the top of the mobile device in their market. So pick the area you want to be in, put yourself at the top of all the listings when buyers and sellers are searching on the Homes.com app. It's a great way to connect, and it's a click-to-call action directly to the right of the exposure. So target your local market, block out your competition because it is sold based on views. So it's limited, and definitely contact us today to find out if we have availability in your market, because this is a great way, based on what Gary was saying, to get in front of buyers and sellers that are searching on the go, especially if they're going to take action within 1 hour. You definitely want to make sure you show up there. So we wanted to tie that in directly to what he was going to be talking about. And then the Premier package, that's the bundle that Homes.com offers that ties in with everything that Gary says and a lot of the other instructors that come on to the webinar and present. So it includes a bunch of different services, but we're going to start with the marketing aspect of it on Homes.com. By the way, the fastest growing directory online. The first thing is preferred status. Preferred status allows your sellers to show up higher on the directory. Same thing with a Google search. If you're doing a search, you want to show up first. Same thing with when you get to Homes.com. You want your seller's home, you want your listing to show up first. So Homes.com with the Premier package includes the preferred status, which filters it up towards the top, and there's some few tricks that you can use to put it to the very top. So call in today to find out how to get the listing on the very first page of whatever city that listing is in. But besides that, special emphasis on the preferred status. Upgrade your agent profile on Homes.com to be seen more when people are doing their searches. It's a fantastic way to bring in more potential clients using the listings that you have. And I seem to have lost it. With the Premier, you have a dashboard similar to what Gary was showing, a dashboard of applications. Let me see if I can get it back one slide. It's taking a while. Mel, can you get it back one for me?
Sure thing.
I don't know why it, there we go, right there, perfect. If it can stay there, good. So this is the dashboard for Homes Connect, and it's as simple as you want to log in once to access everything. So what I mean by that is you want to access your leads. You go into the lead application. You want to access your website with all the different design themes. Do it all directly from here. You want to post something out to Facebook. Do it directly from here. So it's got custom CMA reports, all the same data that comes in from your MLS, accessed directly from your Homes Connect. Neighborhood reports. These are for buyers that want to know about the surrounding area of a property that they're interested in. The Imprev Design Center, and I'm going to talk about the Imprev Design Center a little bit more, but projects, designs, profiles, I'll get into more detail in a second what Imprev is. And then the social impact. Social impact, this icon right here, allows you to access all your social media directly from one place. Find out what people are saying about you before you have to go online and look what people are saying. Access it all directly from your social impact. So can we move it forward one more slide, Mel? I don't know what happened. Is it just taken away? Or
sure, no problem. I'll just keep
we can move it.
So from here, this is where you can access all the different social media sites, like you see here, Bing Local, Google Local, Yahoo Local, all the major sites, Yelp. Find out what people are saying about you, whether positive or negative. You want to know as soon as that hits the internet so you can see what people are saying on you. And one more, next slide. Oh, I think I already moved it.
Yep.
And then the
and now I moved it.
Oh, sorry about that. Perfect. So now with the competition factor, if there's someone you know in your industry, like let's say you work in Garry Wise's direct competition area, and you want to see where he ranks compared to you based on search terms online, you can track. You can enter in up to 4 agents based on the city that you're in to see where your ranking is compared to fellow agents or competitors. So if you want to improve on what you're doing, you want to see a result, you can come in here, plug in up to 4 agents, and track where you're ranking online. And that's a good way to increase your exposure. You see where you need to increase it? This is a good tracking tool to find out how you want to come in and add that and show up higher. Next slide, sorry. With the Premier, it also includes a website. We have over 20 different design themes. Here's one of my personal clients, the dealers out in Flower Mound, Texas. It's a standard site. It has direct IDX feed, everything you want to have on there, and then you can also customize these as well for an additional amount, but that comes with the preferred package as well. Next slide. I'm sorry for the delay. Okay, now to the Imprev. The Imprev was a big landing for Homes.com. What it does is it has over 500 different layout themes for flyers, brochures, business cards, newsletters, postcards, and property cards. So what happened was on July 10th, we expanded the product lineup. So we added the Imprev, the Marketing Center, to the dashboard, and now all the Premier agents get to take advantage of this. So it also lets you do, like when you want to share your finished marketing pieces out with your social network, you want to send it out to Facebook, you want to send it out to your Twitter feed. So increasing the listing visibility and then enhance the overall consumer engagement. And it lets you do it all from one place. So like what Gary was talking about, having everything all in one place saves you time. It's avoiding multiple logins. So you're getting your project done, you're sending it out, you're taking it with you as a PDF. So it makes very good sense. And then the next slide, please, Mel. And I think it's going to be the mobile back office. So if you're on the go, and let's say you left your tablet at home, or you have your tablet with you, it accesses it through you have your own mobile app with the Premier Market. So if you're on the go and you want to take a picture of a new listing and send it out to all your friends and followers that are out there, you can do it directly from the broadcaster. So you send it out to all the other social networks, post pictures, comments, all directly from your phone. And then the lead manager, pretty simple. It's easy to access all your leads directly from your phone. So if you couldn't remember a contact phone number, you didn't save it onto your phone, go into your lead manager and you can access all the contacts directly from there. Last slide, please. And I think this is the... Good, okay. Thank you for doing that, Mel. I thought I had it down, but...
You bet. Well, I'm going to trade you because we've got some questions coming up that I think only you can answer, and maybe privately with some people who have some specific questions about the real inner workings here. So if you have any general questions, we'll ask those. But Margaret, Terry, and Joelle?
Yep.
Yes,
hang in there.
And we're going to put...
Michael's Premier sales rep.
That's
so
right.
He'll
answer all
your
directly.
questions.
And if I can't answer it, I've been here long enough, I can find out the answer. I don't like to make anything up. I'm going to get the correct answer, but I most likely know the answer.
Thank you.
And then the last thing we wanted to touch on is the Homes.com app. So on the left, this is the sample on a tablet. Now, I have a brother-in-law who's looking to buy in San Diego. They live up in Los Angeles. And he was using a competitor's to search. And I said, do you like the way that operates? And he didn't know that we had a mobile app, so I showed him how to download the Homes.com app. And when they go into the app, it was a lot easier for him to navigate through. And the thing he really liked, what I'm going to talk about now, is the finger slide through the pictures. So one of our application functions is you can go in, simply slide through the different pictures, and then it fits the full screen. You can search nearby. So all the listings that are on Homes.com show up on that mobile app, and makes it a lot easier for you to use. And then the mortgage calculator. This is fantastic. It's a downloadable app that shows in great detail a mortgage calculator. Most mortgage calculators let you put in the loan amount, the amount you're putting down, and the interest rate, and that gives you the monthly payment. What this does is it takes into consideration your debt to income, the monthly payment calculator, and then also a refinance calculator. So it's a much more detailed mortgage calculator, and that's a free app that you can download as well through your app market. So I wanted to make sure I talked about those things because these are great for people to use if you have a buyer or a seller who doesn't know where to go to search. I recommend using the Homes.com app when you're going online to search on a mobile device. And that is the Premier package. So what we're doing right now, if you can go to the next slide, Mel, we're running a promotion for the webinar only. We're discounting the Premier bundle, so you get everything that I just talked about. We're taking off $20, and we're including a free featured listing. Now, featured listings are one of my favorite products we have, because if you got a listing that you really want to get sold or more attention to, this is the way to do it. Normally they're $40 a piece, but you get 10 times more exposure to your listing, and we're going to include one for free with the Premier bundle. So take off $20, include a free featured listing. This is why it's good to attend these webinars, is you get so many good discounts for tools that you know you need to use. It's a great way to take advantage of it. So we're doing that just for people that are listening to the webinar, and I highly encourage contacting one of the marketing consultants that work here and find out how this works and whether or not we have availability in your market.
Hey, Michael, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted everyone to know that there is extensive training for this product, and online and live, and you need to check that out with your account manager if you're a Homes Connect client. Thank you so much, Michael. Can you get on and answer some of these clients' questions? That would be really great. Mel, can you?
Yes, you've been made an organizer.
Been made an organizer, so you should be able to see the last bunch of questions. They really need a sales rep.
And just don't hit the X, because then we'll all say goodbye. But we want to stick around for another 15 minutes, right up to the chat. So we'll give 15 minutes chance for any other questions. If there are any other general questions about the Premier Bundle, about Homes Connect itself, type those in now. And
stay here.
And
but if you have questions for Garry, you need to go over to the Homes Pro Facebook chat.
Ellen says, how much?
How much is the bundle?
Good question. Normally it's $149. Remember, we're discounting that today, so it's only $129, and we throw in the featured listing as well.
Fantastic. And the template that people are waiting for, we're going to send a link to that, yes.
Everyone who's registered will receive an email after this webinar, and it will have that link in it. So make sure you read your email.
And Peru has a question for Garry, but Gary's moved on and is getting ready for the Facebook chat. So if you have any more questions for Garry about the iPad presentation, move on over to Facebook/HomesPro.
And then what you do, you like the page, and then click on the photo of Garry in the photo section, and that will give you access to the actual chat. All right, should we just keep it open, Mel, and or should we end and Michael will just answer questions?
Yeah, I'll put a little hold music on here, and so if there's any questions, general questions that Michael can answer out loud, we'll come back on. Otherwise, Michael will be typing furiously to some of you Homes Connect users who
have some great questions.
All
right, thanks everyone. Thank you, Garry. That was an awesome presentation. And thank you, Michael. That was a great presentation for Homes.com. And to our listening audience, thank you for participating. If you have unanswered questions, again, go over to Homes Pro Facebook chat and talk directly to Garry. He'll be there for about 20 minutes. Also, when you exit, please fill out the exit survey form. I read everyone's. I love knowing what you liked and what didn't work so well for you. So please make sure you fill in that form as you exit. Don't miss next month's I Suck at Twitter. Please help me. Katie Lance is an excellent presenter. Go and sign up now. Thanks, everyone. Be sure to participate in the exit survey. We appreciate your feedback, and thanks to our webinar team, Mel, Laura, Garry, Manly, Monica, Katie, Z, and Patty. Takes a lot to do this. And special thanks to Google Drive presentations. We've just changed from PowerPoint to Google Drive presentations, and we're very happy with it. Goodbye, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day. All right.
not what you send, it's that you do.
I don't sleep.
All my emails are personal.
My houses come up in the first week.
Recording that testimony.
Really, the more you have to be organized.
Not to put all your eggs into one basket.
Keep those people remembering you. Give them what they're looking for.
But properly priced is the key. I say, how can I do this different? You know, we don't have a technology problem. We have a people problem.
You have to build a relationship.
Secrets of top-selling agents.
So in the few minutes before Garry joins us on the Facebook chat, by the way, if you're arriving now to hear Garry in person, you're an hour late. But he will be chatting away at 2:30 here with answering more questions about the iPad. And if you did miss any part of the presentation, you can always watch the recording. I've chatted everybody out the number for homes.com because a number of you had questions, weren't sure what service you had already, weren't sure if you needed a Premier bundle, if you already had it. 866-674-1725. Again, 866-674-1725. Get you squared away because, yes, you should know what bundle you have and whether you can take advantage of this as well as your other questions. Like I said, questions for Garry, though, we're going to convene on Facebook and type those questions in. So if you didn't get a satisfactory answer in the presentation, type it in Facebook, and I'm going to show you how to get there in case if you're having any trouble. You open up a browser window. And I'll do that right here over the screen. Go to facebook.com/HomesPro. And then you like the page. Now, I probably will have already, oh great. That's why we do this after the webinar. This is part of the official webinar. You log into Facebook if you're not already logged in, like I'm doing now. we get for using a new browser today. So here's the page. Now, I have already liked it, but if you haven't, you need to like it right there. Then you'll see Gary's photo. Under Photos, click on the photo. Click on it a second time, and then you'll see all the comments under the photo. And Randy, who's there and he got there early probably, 21 minutes ago, but that's where it may have already started. Now, see, there's only 3 or 4 questions there, so plenty of room to get in and have Gary answer your questions here at 2:30. Oh, great. And Michael's back, so I'll sign any Homes Connect questions you may have if you're already a user to Michael. Or if you're not, he can still answer those here in the background. We're going to close the webinar now. Thanks for all your questions, and I hope you find answers if you haven't already by visiting the chat section. Let's get this music a little bit lower. By visiting facebook.com/HomesPro. That's where we're at here on the screen. Like the page, and then look for Gary's picture and click through twice on his picture, and you should see this chat, which is just beginning now. We've got a few questions. Join us there. And we'll see you next month, October 30th. Put the date on. Visit us at secretswebinars.com.